Hello, everybody, and welcome into OneSoccer.ca. You're watching OneSoccer Today. Andy Petrillo, Oliver Platt, Gareth Wheeler. And yes, right there, in case you haven't noticed, we have a very special guest in Julia Grosso of the Canadian women's national team, also of Juventus. How's it going, Julia?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Well, we love having you on. Friend of the show, as we like to say, because we've had you on before. But it's always great catching up with you. There's a lot of great things that are coming up and a lot of great things that have also happened. So we just wanted to check in, as friends do, just to see how you're doing. Yeah, we're just doing a little check-in.
No text, no WhatsApp. We do this real face-to-face, kind of.
I like this better anyways. It's perfect.
That's exactly. And we're going to call it Check-In with Julia from now on. But, you know, we talked when you signed with Juventus. We talked halfway through with Juventus. You know, and now that you kind of had a good, you know, quite a few months under your belt now with your pro team, what's the experience been like? What would you say have been some of the biggest learning curves and maybe even best experience that you've had so far?
Yeah, I would say just, you know, moving from college to professional. I think when I first got here, I was definitely, you know, nervous and just like homesick from being away from Canada. But I loved it, and I feel more like confident here now. And I think that picture that's being shown right now, I think that's probably my like the highlight here is playing Lyon in a Champions League quarterfinal. I think that was the best experience for me, and especially Champions League. I grew up watching that, so to be a part of it was a really big moment for me, and I think that was definitely the most memorable moment.
Yeah, no,
Julia, how big? Sorry, Andy. I just wanted to ask, how big is that jump? Are you finding it from college to pro? Because we saw Jessie come out of college and her game really accelerated when she got to Chelsea. And now we're kind of seeing a similar thing with you, I think, with the national team. So how have you found that jump?
No, yeah, I think, you know, speed of play wise, and all of that, like it's definitely a lot quicker. And now you're playing with women all the time. I feel like in college, like I was playing in college to then going with the national team. So I felt like I had to adjust really quick. And now I almost feel, you know, I'm playing with amazing women, and it's like a good speed of play, and then going to the national team now, it's like it's a smoother transition over. So I think definitely that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, you have to know, Julia, that at the CONCACAF Championship, which acted obviously as the qualifier for the World Cup and the Olympics, you shone brightly and you're scoring goals and you're making plays, and you get the conversation going where it's like, all right, impact player off the bench should she be part of the starting 11? It was just working for you. And I think a lot of people already knew your name just based on the goal that you scored at the Olympics, which was such a big deal. But you're backing it up, right? Like, that's the thing. It's not like, oh, that was a great goal and now, right? It's like, no, I'm going to continue to do some great things for this team. But what was working for you in July? What was allowing you to play the way you were playing that made you stand out?
I think for me, it's just playing with confidence. So just kind of like playing my game and not worrying about what others, you know, think or anything like that. And just really knowing my strengths on the field and knowing my weaknesses as well, and continuing to improve my weaknesses and building on my strengths. I think just being confident on the ball and knowing what I can do and just applying that, I think was the biggest thing for me.
Yeah. I mean, obviously it just, that was a competition where you guys looked really good. Sorry, Ollie, do you want to jump in?
Yeah, I can do. I was going to ask you, Julia, we haven't really seen a ton of midfielders like you in Canada. You know, Canada's maybe traditionally been more of a physical team. You're very technical. We can see you're very confident in tight spaces with the ball. How did you kind of become that kind of player? Was it a parent's influence, a coach, or was it players you watched growing up? What kind of led you to become that type of player?
I mean, my dad would say it was like him. Like he just said that. I got that from him. But I don't know. I would just say, like, when I was younger, growing up, I was just very, like, I had, like, for practice, I would just do a lot of touches on the ball. I just remember that, but I don't know exactly what I did that was, you know, like, to make me technical, but I would just have lots of touches on the ball. Maybe it's because I danced when I was younger. Like, I did tap dance. I don't know, maybe that, but I have no idea.
Well, see, your dad obviously then was very beneficial. Hence why your career's gone the way it has. And mine went the other way, because my dad, when I was little, would just yell at me saying, play tiki-taka. And as a kid, I had no clue what the heck he was saying. I just thought he wasn't speaking English properly. And then
that's the reason why it didn't work out for you, Andy. Clearly.
That's the reason. Clearly. It's not that I'm
throwing
just
your
not
dad
good.
under the bus.
Yeah. Poor Mr. Petrillo.
as a kid, someone just yelling at you tiki-taka. Later in life, I learned that it was like an actual thing. But at that time, I just thought my dad was speaking gibberish. See, that's the difference.
Yeah,
he was ahead of his time. But Julie, you've experienced both sides of beating the Americans, which is what you did at the Olympics, but then losing to them in the final of that CONCACAF championship as well. Now the Canadians having to go into a different, a playoff as well to now qualify for the Paris Olympics. It's a rivalry that keeps on giving in any sport, but you know it, obviously, as somebody who has watched it. You know it now as somebody who has played in it. What was that feeling like when you did lose to them, and just what kind of obstacle do the Americans pose? What is it that you need to do to get around that obstacle?
Yeah, I would say, the Americans are a great side. I would say they press high and they have very fast players, physical and fast. And I think the American team has always been like that, just really quick and very strong players. So I would say that's probably, I would say, their biggest thing. But yeah, I think the last game, we lost, and obviously we weren't happy about it. We had some good chances in the game as well, but we know now like what to fix. And I think we always know going into those games what we need to do playing against them. And so I think over the years it's gone a lot better playing against the USA. Like I know a lot of us play with them in like NWSL, so we kind of know like tactics and how each player plays. But it's getting better. And yeah, they're a strong side, but we are too. So we're gonna win next one.
Can I look back and look ahead a little bit? Because going to Australia, I mean, it's quite the travel to play those games, but it has to be beneficial going to a place where you know you're going to be next summer in the World Cup. Did you take away key learnings from that, just about the kind of the lay of the land, what to expect with travel, environment, and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I would say it was definitely a long ways away. But I would say like just jet lag wise, I think it took me about like a week maybe. And then we ended up leaving when I was like, we left the day I was like fully adjusted to the time. So I would say, but there are ways to kind of go about that. You can like start going to bed early here and, you can fix, it's just that I had games here with Juventus. So I had to go to bed on the normal times. But yeah, I would say like, even when we played in the games, like the stadiums, it was so cool. I think we were the first soccer team to play in one of the stadiums for the World Cup. Yeah. So that was a really cool experience. And they had like, it felt very real. Like I almost felt like we were playing in a World Cup final when we went into the stadium. Like it was really cool. So yeah, I think they gave us a good feel of what it's about to be.
Very cool.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, that's obviously the point of the trip, was to know exactly the time change that you're dealing with, the hotels, the travel, the venues and everything. And then you walk away with 2 victories as well. And I mean, Bev Priestman changed her formation. Obviously the starting 11 was different too, just because of injuries. And we saw, you and Jesse Fleming playing at the, a little bit more of those holding midfielder roles.
We're good.
Just what kind of confidence does it give you as well, knowing that this is a team that can adapt, whoever's in the lineup, different formation, and you can get the job done? Confidence from that perspective, and then also just from you playing side by side with Jesse Fleming.
No, yeah, I would say I really enjoyed this formation. I think it was really fun playing with Jessie. I feel like I love playing with her. It's very fluid, and we just know each other really well, to the point where I know where she wants the ball, she knows where I want it, and we do a lot of rotations, which I think is good against opponents, because it's like rotations in the midfield isn't the easiest to defend. So I thought that was really good in there, especially with like Sink and Jordan. I thought, it was really fun playing. What was the first question? Sorry.
Just be the confidence of knowing that this is a team that can have different starting 11s and also adaptable, right?
Yeah, no, this team is so adaptable, and it's so good that we know many different formations, like defensively, offensively. We have players to play in each role for different structures. So it's really exciting to know, and we have a lot of depth in our squad. So it's really exciting.
Wait, can I ask one more? Can I ask one more?
Yeah, how about both of you can ask one more, and then we're going to get to some mailbag questions.
Me first.
Go ahead,
Juventus. What, like, you're playing for just an absolutely historic club. So many great players that have come through. Has it lived up to your expectations thus far? Like, what's it like?
No, I've absolutely loved it here. like, I guess it starts with like just like my teammates and just the place I live in. It's like unreal. And it, of course, it's a historic club. Like, there's amazing players. Like, I went to the Champions League men's game yesterday, and like that to me was absolutely crazy. And I got to watch some of my favorite players play. So it's just been unreal, like soccer wise, like just friends wise. Like, it's just been amazing. It's like it's definitely exceeded my expectations for sure.
Amazing.
And so it's really exciting.
Nice. Ollie?
I was going to go back to... Yeah, you should have let me go first. I was going to ask about the Australia games. Now we've lost our flow here.
No, you can go back to that.
We haven't had flow the entire show since you showed up with the button down to here.
True. That's true. Well, I was going to ask you, Julia, were you surprised when you came into camp and like you've won a gold medal, you've had pretty consistent formation and approach for a couple of years, and Bev comes out and says, we're changing the system here and doing something pretty different?
I wasn't... Like, of course, I was like, oh, okay, like it's a new formation. But I think it's good that we continue to switch formations and just learn different roles and all that, just because different teams is a different look. So you need to know different formations, different playing styles. So I think it's good, because also if other teams scout us, they're kind of like, okay, what are they going to play? Like, right. It makes it more difficult. So I think it was a really good thing, and it worked out well. So I'm glad she did that.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
Sure.
All right, we have a couple questions for you, because we typically will, like, once a month. We open it up, the mailbag, for people to ask some questions.
Love getting mail.
So we have a couple for you. First one comes from, I don't know, this is Tez887, something like that.
Good old Tez887. All right.
A little Tez887. And I think they might be, well, then again, I don't want to presume. Maybe they are just asking it the way they've asked it, because you're already in Italy. But they want to know, what's the one thing you would bring with you to Italy from Canada? But since you're already there, I mean, what's the one thing you did bring with you to Italy from Canada? And of course, they ended it off with A. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if you brought like Tim Hortons pods or some maple syrup,
ketchup,
or, like,
chips.
What would be the thing?
Okay, I know
chips.
This sounds so bad because it's like not real Canadian maple syrup, but I brought Aunt Jemima syrup with me, and I know people are gonna be like, "Oh my god, that's not."
I'm not offended. I love
it.
Yes.
I love Aunt Jemima, and like
yes.
Like, it's my favorite syrup. So sorry, that's not very Canadian of me, but I brought that.
Love Aunt Jemima on the pancakes. Oh my
so good.
God.
It's the best.
It is so good. Is there one thing maybe that you do miss though from Canada that you're not getting there on a regular basis?
Okay, this also sounds kind of bad, but I would say in Italy there's great pasta, pizza, you know, everything. But I would say like the fast food restaurants, which is really bad to say, but they have like limited options here, like McDonald's. But I don't go there every day, but I miss, like, you know, a little treat.
Yeah, when you just want a greasy food, just a greasy
like
day.
Once in a while, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
Just want a good burrito. Yeah, you gotta have those quick burritos, right?
Like for me, like Chipotle would be so great. Like, that's what I'm talking about.
Totally get it. Totally get it.
Yeah. And now we're all officially hungry. We do have one here, and you got to be very careful how you answer this.
This one going to be eating McCain Deep and Delicious. This is waiting for me after the show. You should have brought that with you, Julia.
I know, I should have.
You know, I have. How is that? Yeah,
I'm literally going to eat it right after we're done the show. Me digging into it, Deep and Delicious.
Since I was in high school, I used to take down an entire Deep and Delicious cake all on my own after high school. I need to get back to that. But yeah, so the next question here, you got to be careful how you answer it, because I feel like this could lead to some family drama if you don't answer it correctly. This comes from, I wonder who this could be. JJ Waterman.
Oh, my sister's boyfriend. Great.
Thumb up
wants to know. Listen, he wrote this in. He's a longtime listener, first-time caller. He wants to know who your favorite CF Montreal player is and why.
Please say Sammy Piet. Come on.
Kone, yeah.
The hard one.
Kamal Miller, Alistair Johnston. Lots of good.
I would say Joel. I feel like he wants me to say that.
Controversial.
I would definitely say Joel. He's a great player, and I would definitely say him for sure.
Controversial.
It is.
Sorry, everyone else. Also, he's dating my sister. That doesn't have anything to do with it. Just kidding.
Hey, but you know what? You've got to give, and we've done this here on the show before, where you have to give Joel Waterman credit. I mean, again, like, this is what we love about, and we know, and again, not that I want to get into this conversation, because we do, and we will continue. But this is why we push for a women's domestic league, right?
Yeah.
Because you see what the CPL has done. You see how Joel started there. You see he's with MLS. And now to the point where we're even having conversations about whether he can warrant a call-up to the Canadian men's national team, right? So when you see, he's a perfect story. Obviously, he's, you know, personally connected to you as well. But he's a great story of why those domestic leagues work.
I completely agree. I agree.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyways, that's fantastic. Julia, it's always great catching up with you. Love having you on. Enjoy Italy. It was great watching you guys in Australia. And I know Bev hinted to more games to come in October, November. So we look forward to that as well. So
no, thank you
have
so
a great
much
time.
for having me. Thank you.
Thanks, Julia.
See you, Julia. Thank
Bye.
you.